Ladies and gentlemen, this issue of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock for making a joke about his wife has nothing to do with protect black women. There, I said it. Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ulwazi, and today I grace your YouTube screens to talk about something that everybody and their dog has given an opinion on YouTube, on Twitter, everywhere. But damn it, I'm gonna give my 2 cents too. I woke up on Monday morning to see that Will Smith had slapped the shit out of Chris Rock, and I couldn't figure out why. Sorry. So I watched the clip, heard the joke, saw Will Smith get angry and slap Chris Rock, and I was still really confused as to why the hell this had happened. So I went into the comment section, because if there's one place where you will understand what's going on in a video, it's the comment section. I go into the comment section and I see that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock because Chris Rock made a joke about Jada's bald head, and apparently she has alopecia, and apparently she's talked about this, which that was news to me. I didn't know that she had alopecia. And so began a barrage of think pieces, threads on Twitter, Twitter spaces, everybody just dissecting Will Smith's behavior. And out of everything that I heard, the one thing that stuck out to me, that caused me much confusion and that left me incredibly perplexed, was the idea that Will Smith slapping Chris Rock was vindication for all black women, and that Chris Rock making a joke about Jada's bald head was somehow an attack on all black women in general. And then this morphed into a race issue, and then it further morphed into a protect black women movement. And then all of a sudden, all the isms were applied to this situation, and I was left gobsmacked, perplexed, confused. It boggled my mind. I felt really motivated to make this video and to speak out about this issue because I've seen a few people show some sense and sensibility in this matter. And most people have gotten really emotional and they've politicized this entire event, and they've gone deeper than it ever should have gone. People are bringing out all the isms. They're bringing out racism. They're bringing out transphobia. Don't ask me how, but I was listening to a Twitter space where a trans woman somehow inserted herself and her struggle as a trans woman into the situation. Go figure. I don't understand how this specific scenario ties back to protect black women. I don't understand how it ties back to racism. To me, this is not a race issue. What happened between Chris Rock and Will Smith is not a race issue. It is an issue of one man making a bad joke, bad because it wasn't funny, it wasn't clever, it wasn't crafty. In fact, it was an old joke. It's a very old joke. When G.I. Jane first came out, every woman with the bald head was being called G.I. Jane. It's an old joke, and I don't know why Chris Rock brought an old joke into 2022. So it was a bad joke, and Will Smith completely overreacted. So at best, if you really want to politicize the situation, what you are seeing is toxic masculinity. But racism, no. The fact that the characters involved in the story are black is actually purely incidental. It's not a race issue. It just so happens that the people involved in this malarkey are black. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think that black women in general are often made fun of and picked apart for the way that they look? Do I think that we are often picked on and judged critically in the public gaze unfairly? I actually do. You know, most recently, black women were picked on unfairly by a podcast, a very popular manosphere podcast called Fresh and Fit.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, like me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that. Man. We ain't night riders.
No,
so
bro, I'm good.
You know, sometimes if they're, red bone, but like.
When Protect Black Women came up against Fresh and Fit, I was wholeheartedly behind it because that indeed was a very direct attack on black women at large. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock because Chris Rock made a joke about Jada's bald head, and Chris Rock making a joke about Jada's bald head, that had nothing to do with black women at large. It's really important that people get this. It's really important that people stop reaching and stop trying to insert these politicized agendas to this scenario, because it's a dangerous thing to do. And I'm going to reiterate again why it's a dangerous thing to do. There are very real issues of social injustice. There are very real issues of inequality and discrimination, specifically against black women around the world. And when you misapply terms like racism, when you misapply terms like discrimination, when you misapply a political movement I'm going to call it a political movement, and a political movement like Protect Black Women to this scenario, what ends up happening is when there is a genuine issue that requires us to speak out, the world will be fatigued. They will be fatigued about hearing about racism and protecting black women. They'll be over it. They'll roll their eyes at us. and our pleas for change will fall on deaf ears. So it's reckless. It's a reckless misuse of these terms. And that's really important that people understand that and stop misapplying these terms to scenarios that don't call for it. There are racist situations. There are racist structures that do need to be dismantled. But what happened between Will, Jada, and Chris Rock was not an issue of racism. It doesn't require the Protect Black Women movement. It doesn't require any of that. It was just a weird, awkward, funny, random event that took place. That's all. These are very serious topics and very serious conversations being applied to a very silly situation. What happened between Will and Chris Rock was very silly. And I don't like hearing very serious topics being thrown at a very silly situation. So thank you for listening. Mwah.